Welcome back to What Arty Noobs with General Disturbance. This is an AMX 30 Premier prototype. It's a tier 9 French medium tank located on the north spawn of mines under the command of Jamie2006. Well, this tank can have 3 different guns, either a 90mm, a 100mm or 105. I suspect that's the 105. Yep, it is. 390 Alpha, 248mm pen with standard APCR, and the HESH for the heat rounds are capable. Oh, we were missing the action there, so I had to switch back. Oh, going for another shot, and he gets the standard B with 430. Now, yep, punches around into the T100, who's made a big mistake coming up here, because he's going to get bullied like hell, and he's out the game. Nice use of that RAM. He lost a couple of hit points, well, 32 in total to the T100, but he's got the top of the hill. Now he's going to start pumping rounds into the enemy tanks as they go past. That's the T30. Pump one into the engine bay. Go for another. Yeah, he timed that one perfectly. Right into the engine bay, trying to get a fire. He might not get another one off that guy unless he goes around this corner, and he will. And he puts that one in the engine bay as well and gets a high roll for 432. In fact, he tracked him this time and he killed him with the next shot. Put him out of his misery. I think his engine was gone and there was no way he could move forward after that. So that's why he got the kill. Okay, well this was the French version. Oh! What was that Manticore thinking? What a silly thing to do. He tried to spin round, but he actually spun right into the enemy's eyes. And unfortunately, they took away most of his hit points in the process, including the fact there happens to be a chieftain there. But that's a fire. He got the rear of the tank and set him alight. Nicely aimed. Deliberately trying to get the fire on the rear of that chieftain. Oh, he's looking at us. Yeah, C100 got a big round in. That was not good, but the C100's gone, and that means the 112 did actually, or Wizzy 111 Model 5A I should say, actually did take a hit this time round. Now going back to the AMX 30 Premier prototype, it's the first version of the French European tank. Yeah, they were trying to buy a standardized tank for everyone. And they all came up with different versions. The Leopard, the Germans came up with the Leopard, and of course the Leopard prototype. The Italians, well, they had the Progetto and the Standard B, and this is a fast and furious battle, isn't it? Oh my god, they're 9-0. The enemy's literally being slaughtered. But anyway, everyone came up with their own version, and this is one of the standard tech tree tanks that you can actually get. You can get an AMX 30, I think, which is actually now available in the gift shop, or at least you can get one from the collector's tab. Pumps one round at the Conway, but he actually hits the tracks, but he was tracked. And oh, that was an Arty round from the M53, M55. It landed nearby, so he only got tracked. Burned his repair kit immediately to get active again. Well, there's only 3 enemies left. The Conway's one of them, and if he pops out from that corner, Jamie will have a round into him. He's got just under 6k of damage. There's only 1 enemy left, and it's the M53, M55 that tracked him, and he's about to get killed. I don't think Jamie's going to get any more damage in this game, and that's it. It's all over. Well, that was an incredibly fast game. I almost couldn't get anything else in on my spiel. But you can see it was an ace tanker game and the first mark of excellence for Jamie2006 in the AMX Premier prototype. He managed to get a sharpshooter for getting 10 or more consecutive shots on the enemy. He got an arsonist because he set light to one of the enemy tanks and it burned up. I can't remember if that was the T30 or one of the others. But it may have been, well, certainly one of the ones that he hit. I'm going to have a look at this and see if it was mentioned how they actually died. No, can't be certain which one he actually did burn up, but he did burn somebody and set light to him. I think it would probably be the T-30 that he actually damaged because he fired those rounds into his engine bay. He also managed to get a Master Gunner for getting 5 penetrating shots in a row, a 5 for effect for doing more damage than the hit points to his own vehicle, and a Bruised Medal for getting at least 5 critical hits. In fact, he got 10. On top of that, he got a Leather Slayer's Medal for killing 2 enemy tanks or tank destroyers in a battle with a medium tank, and they had to be at least 1 tier higher. And yes, he was tier 9, it was a tier 10 game, and he destroyed a T100LT, which is tier 10. And, well, the T30 is a tier 9, as I thought. But this one, yeah, that's the Chieftain. So I think it was possibly the Chieftain that he actually killed with the fire. And the Chieftain is definitely tier 10. Anyway, looking at the rest of it, he got the high caliber for dealing the most damage in that game, and he also got a Confederate for hitting more of the enemy than anyone else on his team. His win rate was 9,278, which is Super Unicum standard and quite a bit more. Let's have a look at the team scores. 5,895 hit points. The nearest to him was the Cram Farm with only 3,163, followed by the Chieftain on his own team, managed 2,544. When it came to kills, he had the highest, but he shared it with the Cram Farm. Both had 3 kills each. The Chieftain had 2, so did the E75. Nobody on the enemy team managed to get more than 1 kill. In fact, only 1 kill was obtained, and it was the Conway who got it. And when it came to base XP, yeah, he's definitely got that one. So he's got the top in all 3 columns. 1,408 went to Jamie2006, 898 went to the Chieftain, and 844 went to the Cram Farm. He fired 17 rounds, got 16 direct hits and 15 penetrations. Fairly good accuracy, that, yeah. Only 1 shell didn't actually do what it was supposed to do. 5,895 hit points of damage, of which 324 were done at more than 300 meters. 2 hits received, 2 penetrations, and 1 splash damage. That was the M53, M55 firing round that landed near him and damaged his tracks, but didn't actually do any actual hit points damage. 2 enemy vehicles were spotted, 9 enemy vehicles were damaged, 3 were killed, 1,044 hit points of damage assistance. He earned 83,124 credits from the game, 50,000 for completing a mission, 133,124 credits altogether, and after repair, ammunition, resupply and consumables took away 45,457 credits profit. 2,112 XP times 2 for the first victory took away 4,224 experience points altogether. So a fantastic game. I mean, it was so quick, 3 minutes 54 seconds, and it was almost a 15-0 wipeout to kill all of the enemy tanks. And in no small part, again, down to Jamie driving into the hill as fast as he could to get rid of that T100LT before he could do any damage to any of our teammates. Let's have a look at the armor. Oh, didn't come up on the right screen straight away, but it does eventually. Very lightly armoured tank indeed. You can see that straight off the bat. If we take it to the live model, you can see, yeah, it's very, very, very light indeed on the armour. Yeah, all around really. It's very vulnerable. If we go to the collision model so we can actually see the various gradations, we can see the front of the tank actually on the lower plate right down there. If we look at it, that's actually more the hull of the tank, but it is a lower plate there. That lower plate is actually 30mm thick, but it's so well angled it's only 76mm if you want to try and get through it. This slightly more flat lower plates down here, it's 55mm coming out at 81. You can see the upper plate is actually 60mm coming out at 98, but it gets higher, so it almost gets a ricochet off that angle there, and you're looking at 40mm of plate, but it's actually coming out 94, very likely to bounce. But you might be able to get a shot in through the driver's port area there, because yes, it's only 40mm thick at that point, and the effective armor's a little less, so you can see it's kind of pushed up, and so there is a spot where you can actually put the round in. This is nicely rounded armor here, 120mm at the corners, 150 there actually at that point. But the chances of you getting a pen, 229, not really likely. The French have actually put a fair bit of armour on the front of the vehicle, so they're expecting this tank to go hull down. It does have 8 degrees of gun depression, so it could do that. But the problem is that huge cupola, that's a bit of a weak spot. 100mm, which is coming out at 110 or thereabouts. The top of the turret there, you can see you've got to almost ricochet off that turret. 45mm coming out at 107. Sides of the vehicle are a lot more easier to penetrate, 13mm. That's how they've reduced the weight to make this tank go faster. It's got a top speed 65 kilometers an hour, so it can move quite fast. In fact, it's more light tank speed than medium tank speed. But the sides of the turret, which are 40mm, and the sides of the hull at 30mm are very weak, and they can easily be penned. And the engine deck is only 15mm, so if you can land a shell on top of one of these, you're more than certainly going to go through if you're firing Arty at it. So yes, try to aim for the rear of the tank if you can, not for the front, but you should be able to get a pen. Let's have a quick look at the modules. It's kind of weird layout on this one because it's got the fuel tank running down the side of the vehicle and one big one right in the front. Of course, as you saw, that's the wrong thing. I didn't want that to come out. Click outside the zone, there you go. And you can see that one big fuel tank, which is running down one side of the vehicle, but it also encases the big anorak store right next door to the driver. We've got a radio at the back underneath the looks like it's in the hull basket, in the turret basket I should say. We've got one anorak, actually a deep store there, and there's the ready rack in the bustle of the turret. Gunner on the left hand side with the TC behind him, loader on the right hand side as we're looking at it. At the back we've got the conventional layout, which is 2 fuel tanks sandwiching the engine with a rear transmission. So that shows you where everything is, but I think actually that fuel tank is actually quite a danger, because remember it's only 30mm thick on the armour here, so if you punch around through here you're either going to hit the fuel tank or you're going to get the ammo rack. And yeah, the driver's not going to be too happy because of course he'll be shot at through this this viewports here, and that would be inconvenient to him, especially if the round comes in from this angle, goes straight through him and then straight into the ammo rack behind him and blows the thing to pieces. Yeah, not so great. So congratulations to Jamie2006, first mark of excellence, ace tanker. He's had them before, it's not the first time, but it was a great result and a really fast game. It's such a pity they did get one loss in that game, let the team down, that guy, because, well, actually it's 2 losses there, so not so sure where the other one goes on the scoreboard, because there's only showing 1 kill, so maybe one of them accidentally shot himself in the process, and that's why he died. Yes, it was the Cranvarn crashed actually in the end. So that's why it was only 1 kill by the enemy, but 2 people were lost, and consequently it wasn't a 15-0 win. It would have been nice if it was. But if you enjoyed that game, please give this video a like, do subscribe to our channel, leave a little comment down below because it feeds the algorithm, and thank you for watching.